It is our pleasure to be joined by the greatest softball coach of all time. The GOAT is in the house for her annual visit. Patty Gasso, how we doing? How we doing, Coach?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just prepping, getting ready for what's next.
We're very excited for the Super Regional against Florida State. We'll get to that, but wanted to hit some stuff from earlier in the season with you before we talk about the Super. Every time you come on, you talk about how you are constantly challenging yourself to adapt and to improve as a coach each and every season. And I'm just curious, this season, where do you think you've changed? Where do you think you've adapted to become the best coach you can be?
That's a hard question, really, because I think every day is something different. Every day I'm trying something new. It's the challenge is, why would a team who's pretty much senior laden want to do this for the fourth time? Because it's very difficult. It's very it drains you, it's draining. And as they get older, they get tired a little bit easier, and it's a place no one has been. I've never managed a team that's won 3 in a row. These guys have never been in a place anywhere where they've, so it's new territory, and I find myself getting as tired and as drained as they are. So it's what I've had to do is pay attention to my energy level and keep it energized, keep trying to press them and push them in a good way. I'm trying to keep it light at times. And then sometimes when I'm not getting what I want, then I will bring the heat a little more. So I've really been trying to work off of their feelings and their mentality. And, there's just, I think you hear it too. I mean, we lose 6 games in a season. You would think that we are the worst team that's ever played. And there's just a lot of things that come at them, and a lot of expectations, a lot of people wanting interviews, a lot of things that we have not had to face before. So I would say that this season has been draining, but at the same time, this team is so competitive that they're not going to use that as any kind of excuse going forward.
So you mentioned the 6 losses and people acting like the sky is falling and that OU softball has fallen off a cliff as a result of those losses. But is there value in seeing in going through adversity like that? Maybe when you haven't gone through adversity like that the last couple of regular season, is there value in the series losses to Texas and Oklahoma State? Is that something you could use to improve your team?
Oh, 100%. And that I know that. I don't know that other people care about that, but we didn't play well enough to win those games, and we knew that. And there's no excuse for it. We knew it, and so how do we make sure that doesn't happen again? Those are things that we, I think we still have. You have not seen our best. We played really well against Texas in the Big 12 tournament championship game. But prior to that, we were kind of hot and cold. We're winning games, but not dominating games. And that's really the way we, have been living in the past. So this, even this past weekend, we didn't dominate. We dominated the first game, but Oregon, we didn't dominate them. They were pressing us and pushing us. And those 2 parts of our game are working well. We can find ways to win a lot of games. We had defense and pitching really, really on our side. Offensively, we would string a few things together, but we're still leaving runners in scoring position and so forth. But what this team does really well is after a loss, they respond really well. And we had those opportunities for the third game against Oklahoma State and Texas. And we responded. We responded. When we get that second chance at somebody, we respond. So I think losing is important as long as you're, learning from it and not making excuses about it.
You mentioned that third game in the Bedlam series. You guys had dropped the first two. You came out, you have the big sixth inning, you win convincingly. How much momentum do you think that helped you guys carry into the Big 12 tournament and into the postseason, Coach?
Yeah, I think we finally started to feel like ourselves again, and putting runs on the board, and just all parts were clicking. Our pitching staff didn't throw very well against Oklahoma State, and so that was the goal: is to come away with one of the three so that we can still maintain our spot in the top one or two. And we did that, but they really wanted vengeance against Texas. And I think that hunger was there. And that's how we play our best. It's just getting us to that place is important. And the trust is that you're going to see that this weekend. And we still haven't played complete. I think the Texas game was one of probably our best game of the season. And can we match that? Can we play at a 9, an 8, a 9? We've been playing at 6s and 7s and getting away with winning games, but against certain teams, you're not going to make it. So this is where we need to call ourselves out.
Looking back at the regional, you said you guys weren't dominant against Oregon, but like you mentioned, the pitching was fantastic. Nicole May and Kelly Maxwell were just dealing in the circle. I don't even think they walked a single batter in the regional. Just how encouraging was it to see those two perform the way that they did in the regional?
Yeah, I'm really pleased about that. And I'm really pleased for them because they're seniors. And sometimes seniors, they really work too hard to try to have a great senior year. These guys, with Kelly Maxwell and Nicole May, they both have a light switch has turned on for them, a light bulb where they look different when they're on the mound. There's a different maturity. There's a different look of intensity, and like they're throwing very competitive pitches, and their body language shows it. So, yes, I am extremely encouraged by what they did this last weekend.
I know you wanted nothing more than to beat Oregon, and you did, and you guys did twice. But now that you won the regional, just how cool was it seeing so many familiar faces on that Oregon staff?
What was cool about the whole experience, like as soon as I saw their name pop up on the board, on the TV, I'm like, really? Okay, we're going to do that. So I had a little anxiety over that because, I mean, I'm the teacher and they're the pupils. You can't let a pupil beat the teacher. And but so I'm not serious and concentrating on all of that. I was more of knowing that a team like Oregon has nothing to lose, and they're coached well, they pitch well, they kind of keep you on your heels at times. But what changed my whole approach to everything was Melissa Lombardi, who's been with me. She played for me here, and then she coached with me for 20 years. And she was with me at Reeves Park. She was with me at Marita Hines. Our relationship has not been the same since she left. And I really wanted her to see Love's Field. And I wanted her to know how important it was that her hands are all over the stadium, because she had her hand in so many wins and so many championships before she left. And taking her through kind of created this bond of wow, and just a connection. And Sid Romero was walking with us as well. And it just turned into more about life and people and friendships versus I hate you, we got to beat you, whatever it is that people think when they're playing in like must-win situations. I think it eased both of us quite a bit, and Coach Lombardi and Sid Romero got a standing ovation and lots of love from the Sooner fans, which I really appreciated. So it made it just easier to go about it with each other, and just the respect and the human side of it was the way it used to be in athletics. So I loved it.
That's an awesome story, Coach. And you mentioned Love's Field. It sounds like you guys are finally all the way in to the new facility. Just what has life been like having the new stadium?
Like a dream. I'm actually sitting in this beautiful new office that I couldn't even dream of having. So it still doesn't feel real. You got to pinch yourself every day, and you're walking in and you're just like, it's hard to still embrace that this is real and that it is ours, and showing others and watching their reaction is really cool. Because you're kind of showing your house off and they're like, wow, oh, wow, let me take pictures of this. Let me take pictures of that. But, it's just been so wonderful for women's athletics, for softball. Coach Lombardi was in here taking pictures, and I'm like, take it back to your AD and tell them you need a player's lounge that looks like this. And if this facility could help others get better facilities, that's what it's about. And that's why the Loves family they have love for women's athletics and love for the University of Oklahoma. And I'll tell you something that was kind of like a wow factor for me was there was a father with 3 little boys, and they were walking in to the parking lot of the stadium, and I'm getting ready to leave. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys, everything's closed. He goes, no, we're here for there's a baseball game today, right? I mean, is it over? I'm like, you think this is a baseball field? And he goes, yeah. Isn't this a baseball field? I'm like, no, it's right down the street over there. So for somebody to think that we're, the baseball stadium was pretty cool.
Well, it is awesome, and I can understand the mix up there, but it's a fantastic facility, Coach. Let's talk some Florida State, a team, a program that you guys are extremely familiar with. Clearly had the champ series against them last season. When you look at this year's team for Florida State, what kind of stands out about the Seminoles to you?
Offense, power. When I compare the two teams, our numbers are almost identical. We might have a little more power, like a little fewer more home runs, where they have more stolen bases. They run a lot. They're very good base runners. They're going to go from first to third. They're going to create chaos on your defense. Your defense has to always be thinking ahead, looking ahead. They can bunt at any time, but they can hit the ball over the fence at any time. So it's very hard to defend them. Their defense is solid. If there is any kind of weakness, it might be in their pitching staff. And our numbers are slightly better on the pitching side than theirs, but they have experience, and they are working off of a freshman that's a lefty freshman who's throwing a lot of innings. But they had Catherine Sandercock last year, who was just their shutdown pitcher. And without her this year, you could see that they're giving up a few more runs, but they make up for it with their offense. So our pitching staff is going to be on call and ready, because they're tough to shut down.
Coach, you have just a senior class that has really unmatched accomplishments when it comes to college softball with what they've been able to accomplish over the last couple of years. What do you think it's going to be like for you watching them play in Norman for the last couple of times?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make you sad. I promise, Coach.
No.
I promise.
I was just going to say, I'm not going to be sad, because they're ready to live their lives, and they're going to leave everything on this field the best they can. So it's not going to be me being sad. It's going to be me being proud of them, what they've accomplished in college softball, how they've set a standard that has made other teams around us have to step up. And I do believe a big part of Texas' success is chasing us all the time, and Oklahoma State as well. But they were a big part of that. So it's more of gratitude and pride, and just grateful for their hard work and their commitment to the program. And yeah, I mean, I'm saying that now, but that's how I feel about them.
I consider you not only one of the best coaches in all of sports, I consider you one of the best leaders in all of sports, Coach, with the way that you go about your business and the success that you've had. You have so many veteran leaders on this team, and you've had a little more adversity this year than the last couple of years. How have you seen this senior class, those veteran leaders, how have you seen them lead this team as a whole?
I've seen different people. You know, there are two captains, so-called captains, and that's Kinsey Hansen and T.R.A. Jennings. And T.R.A. is not a big vocal leader. Kinsey Hansen is a little more that. But Jada Coleman has stepped in, and Riley Boone has stepped in, and they're kind of the party starters. They're the ones that are leading through their energy. And sometimes this team can be really worn out, and the party needs to be started. It's always Jada and Riley Boone, and they have committed to that. And I really appreciate that from them. And what the senior class has done a great job of is teaching our young players. The freshmen, 2 freshmen are in the lineup every game because they're 2 of our better hitters, because they're learning from these elders and they're listening, and the elders are working with them and trying to help them understand things. So I've been really grateful for watching the teaching aspect of things as well.
You mentioned the 2 freshmen, Parker and Pickering. I mean, my goodness, Coach, I know that you're focused on this season and finishing the job, but just how exciting of a future do those 2 have?
Oh boy, they are they're special without question. I think sometimes when it's such a big lineup, they might get overlooked, but I think people are really paying attention. They are clutch and they are timely with their offense, and really cover the plate well. They don't strike out a ton. They just nothing gets too big for them, and that is very uncharacteristic for young players, but they are definitely fearless at the plate, and they really have team at bats. That's what I love about them.
Coach, I'm sure that Love's Field is going to be packed this weekend. Sooner Nation's going to show up in a big way. Best of luck against Florida State. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for reaching out. We appreciate you.